Hello, welcome to another episode of Minecrab. We've updated the classic 0.0.21a. If we look inside the inventory, we can now walk around and jump with the inventory open. Also, this inventory now has a gray background behind it. Beside these changes, this version worked on generation changes and bug fixes. In this version, we're approaching an important milestone. We're about to reach survival mode in our world. Let's look at a version timeline to see the plan. We are now looking at the Omni Archive Index, a list of all Minecraft Java Edition versions that is linked in the description. We are currently in Classic 0.0.21a. You can see that Omni Archive appends -2008 to the end of the version name, and that's because the archived version is the second upload of this version, which was released at 2008 UTC. The first upload from 1951 UTC did not have auto-clicking, where you can hold the mouse button to place or break. Notch re-uploaded 21a only 17 minutes later to fix that bug, and we only have the re-uploaded version archived. All the versions marked in red are missing, so unfortunately we can't play in them. The next two archived versions are 22a_05 and 23a_01. We will play these in the next two episodes, but we'll be busy with lots of other shenanigans. After these versions, we'll officially enter the survival tests, so now is the best time to prepare for them. All classic versions with game modes are hard set in code to use one, so without modding there's no way to play in the other game mode. The first archived survival test is 0.24 Survival Test 03, but it's impossible to save worlds without modding in this version. We'll look at this version, but cannot bring our world in vanilla until 0.25_05. The only other archived survival test is 0.27. Afterwards, 0.28 will revert us back to creative mode. We'll have time then to prepare for when we permanently enter survival. Right now, we only have to worry about preparing for these two survival tests. So, how should we prepare for the survival tests? The first thing that's important to note is that these versions are essentially in hardcore mode, because once you die, there's no respawning. This doesn't mean we will delete the world when I die, but we'll have to revert to our last backup and lose any unsaved progress after each death. So we want to do everything we can to stay alive. Let's start by looking at what happens when we update our world. Alright, the world looks intact. Oh, right. We take fall damage now. Let's add some safety water so we don't instantly die when we fall from our high spawn point. This water will be right underneath our spawn, so if we don't move in air while we fall, we'll land right here. Let's try updating again and... Oh no! 1 water is not enough to stop fall damage in this version. We need to make the water at least 4 deep to save ourselves from fall damage. And let's also build a staircase out of here to give us an escape. Moving on, we'll also want resources in our survival world. Our creative hotbar and mobs won't update into the survival tests, but we can bring the blocks of our world. There's no crafting in the survival tests, so the use of most resources is just to give us different blocks to build with. This part of the world has been left relatively untouched, so we will use it as a large storage area. I've outlined 10 by 10 sections for most blocks. And now I've filled them in. We have 4,200 in each cell, which should be more than enough. Looking in the inventory, this is the breakdown of which blocks I've allotted sections for. Most are included. Cobblestone is included since stone drops itself in 0.25. Glass is included because it also drops itself when mined in the survival tests. Maybe more interesting are the ones I've left out. Planks are not included, since logs are a more compact storage for them. Logs will drop 3 to 5 planks, which is why we have 2 cells for logs. Leaves are not included because they only have a chance to drop saplings, so they're just an inefficient storage for saplings. And leaves are easily renewable, since saplings will start to grow in the survival tests. Finally, all the plants and fungi do not have storage slots. We'll look at storing these next. Plants and fungi must be on a dirt block with direct access to the sky, or else they will quickly decay away. Since the dirt blocks the sun, there's no way to vertically stack multiple plants and fungi. Our world is 256 by 256, which limits us to a maximum of 65,536 that we can keep. Out of the available plants and fungi, the brown mushroom will be the most useful, since eating it will actually heal 2.5 hearts in the survival tests. So we're going to coat most of the world with brown mushrooms. And here's the end result of that. I've attempted to use nearly every single light column in our world. There were only a few spots where I didn't put a mushroom. Some structures in our world stretch to the build limit. These are the fractals, the goodbye sign, the animation wall, Notch's castle, ink repair's castle, and the update suppressed gravel. I could break these down to make room for more mushrooms, but I think that the amount we have is already overkill, so I left them alone. The only other unused light column was the water source that we just made to land on, since the water blocks out sunlight. In this corner we do have 400 roses, dandelions, and red mushrooms instead of brown mushrooms, in case we need some of those as well. We're all done with our survival preparation now. The final thing we're going to look at in this episode is an important historical event, the invention of the game Spleef. Classic 21A was released at the tail end of June 22nd, 2009 in UTC. The game of Spleef was invented on June 23rd. On that day, the Minecraft wiki page for Spleef was created with a helpful set of rules. Later that day, Notch created a blog post that linked to that page. The new game exploded among the players shortly after, and we have plenty of videos of people playing the game. The first image we have of a Spleef arena was uploaded to the Minecraft wiki. Shortly after this image, the same user uploaded a screenshot of the inside of this arena. This is the first screenshotted Spleef arena we know of, and we're going to recreate it in our world. Another user uploaded a screenshot of the same arena reset with a checkerboard pattern. All the floor resetting was done manually after each game. Also in 21A, user Video Game Programmer uploaded this screenshot. He added the caption, "The original form of the Spleef Stadium," dated to before the sport had a formal name or had gained popularity. Basically saying, we were doing it before it was cool. This says at least some players had thought of the idea before it gained popularity and was named Spleef. So this arena predates the first one, even though its screenshot was uploaded slightly later. This could be the very first Spleef arena ever made, and we'll also recreate it in our world. Alright, here are the recreated Spleef arenas. So up here is the first original one. Now unfortunately I'm in single player, so I don't have any other people to play it with. But we can play it with 3 Steves. Ready, set, go! Alright, let's get them down. There's 1, there's 2, 3. Okay, that was pretty easy. Now when we go down here, this is the first screenshotted arena, recreated. I didn't have bedrock, so I've used dark cloth for the walls for now. Alright, one last Steve. Boom! He's down at the bottom. I am the champion! That was fun. That will be all for this episode. Unfortunately, I have to say this was my least favorite version that I've played so far. There is a crash bug that will randomly cause the game to freeze while you're playing. Since there's no autosave, this means you will lose all your progress since you started the game whenever this happens. This bug was what Notch worked on in 21A_01. After a few crashes, I started a counter, and I had 114 crashes while working in this version, which wasted many hours of time. If you want to support the channel as I work on new projects, please consider liking the video and subscribing. See you all next time.